The line, planned to be 170 kilometers long, was initially estimated at $500 billion. Shockingly, just 2.5 kilometers of foundational excavation already cost $50 billion. Even the buried concrete and steel raised serious questions. How did humanity's most ambitious city project fall into such a massive cost vortex from the start? Saudi Arabia's Neom project was announced in 2017 as part of Vision 2030. Aimed at reducing oil dependency, it became the center of economic diversification. At its heart, the line is a 170 kilometers, 500-meter tall, carbon-neutral linear city. Construction began in October 2021, fully integrated with Neom's other components, with the first phase planned for 2030. Early warnings emerged within Salman's team. Engineers suggested reducing the height to 100 meters due to structural challenges. Salman rejected these, insisting it be 500 meters tall and 200 meters wide. Advisors warned costs would escalate and timelines were unrealistic. Oil price fluctuations were flagged as a risk. Some recommendations were partially considered in 2025 as costs soared. Salman's passion for the line reflects its symbolic value for his leadership. Representing a post-oil future, it elevates him as a visionary reformer. He believes the line will turn Saudi Arabia into a hub like Silicon Valley. The project aims to create jobs and innovation, and even in 2025, Salman called it a strategic priority, showing his unwavering commitment. The initial cost was $500 billion. The first phase estimated at $320 billion. As the project grew, costs rose to $1.5 trillion, then $4.5 trillion in 2022 and $8.8 trillion in 2025. Funding mainly came from the Public Investment Fund, with hopes for private investors. Despite calling it a $500 billion revolution, costs strained physical and financial limits. Foundational excavation costs exceeded expectations. By 2022, 1 million cubic meters of soil were moved weekly, surpassing $50 billion for the first phase. Excavation continued along 170 kilometers, but by 2025, costs forced a halt. Salman called it the foundation of the future, yet geological challenges remained and many piles were wasted. PIF implemented an $8 billion cut. Rising costs forced downsizing. By 2025, the line's length fell from 170 kilometers to 2.4 kilometers, and population targets dropped from 1.5 million to 300,000. Completion shifted from 2030 to 2045. Construction largely halted, and the project took on a laboratory role. This allowed Vision 2030's cornerstone to be realistically restructured under financial pressure. After excavations, projected costs reached $8.8 trillion, 25 times Saudi Arabia's annual budget. The first phase rose to $370 billion, completion pushed to 2035, and total completion could be as late as 2080. While Salman hoped private investment would balance costs, experts found this unrealistic. Global steel and cement markets were also heavily impacted. Steel, iron and cement usage drew global attention. Neom consumes not less 20% of world steel demand, 1/5 of China's annual output. Cement factories produce 20,000 cubic meters daily. High resource demand strained supply chains, and logistics costs were only 5% of total. Environmental criticisms grew despite claims of sustainability. Global demand pressures caused steel price surges, particularly in India and Europe. Supply chain issues led to delays, and China imposed export restrictions in 2025. Many countries argued the project triggered resource conflicts. Salman called it a global opportunity, but international concerns intensified over its economic and logistical impact. Investors questioned feasibility. Funds like BlackRock deemed the line excessively risky. The $8.8 trillion cost seemed unrealistic. Even with promised returns, experts warned oil price fluctuations posed risks. PIF's 2025 cost cuts did not change caution. Many analysts called it greenwashing, questioning both financial and environmental claims. Scientists criticized the line's technical feasibility. 500-meter height increases earthquake risk, and desert density is unsustainable. Population projections were unrealistic, and environmental damage exceeded benefits. By 2025, scientists suggested the city could only operate as a disciplinary laboratory, influencing revisions and design changes for safety and sustainability. Financial experts highlighted a low cost-benefit ratio. 8.8 trillion equals past 25 years of Saudi Arabia's budget. Returns would only appear post-2030. Low foreign investment amplified risk perception. Tourism potential was promoted, yet debt and low cash flow hindered sustainability. Critics emphasized the imbalance between costs and potential economic gains. Government concern grew. Some ministers warned about rising deficits, but Salman defended expenses as necessary. PIF's 2025 cuts revealed internal debates. Spending affected social programs and priorities, though dissent remained unofficial. Salman maintained loyalty to the project while managing internal criticism and preserving political support. Expatriate Saudis voiced opposition. Activists criticized human rights violations on social media. Salman urged them to return, while 2025 documentaries strengthened dissent. The diaspora called it a waste of resources and sought international support. Public debates over ethical and financial concerns intensified globally. Opponents faced severe consequences. 3 Hawitat tribe members were executed, 5 sentenced to death, others received 15 to 50 years imprisonment. Salman labeled dissenters as terrorists. By 2025, crackdowns increased, and exiled critics reportedly faced threats. Human rights groups issued warnings, though the government cited security needs. Funding comes mainly from PF, totaling $925 billion. Salman hoped private investors would contribute more, but expectations fell short. In 2025, Islamic finance methods were used, but dependence on oil revenues kept funding fragile. Rising costs increased budget deficits, yet Salman continued framing it as a valuable investment. The project's economic burden is enormous. $8.8 trillion equals 25 times Saudi Arabia's GDP. Falling oil prices increased pressure, and 2025 growth was 4.4%. Social spending cuts occurred, and national debt reached 32%. While the line created jobs, experts warned of economic sustainability risks due to mounting costs and financial strain. Worker fatalities became a concern. Reports suggested 21,000 migrant deaths, though unverified. Hawitat tribe displacement and punishment of protesters drew criticism. 2025 documentaries highlighted extreme heat and 16-hour workdays. Salman dismissed claims, but public perception dubbed it the city of death. Most workers came from India, Bangladesh, and Nepal, providing low-cost labor. Wages ranged $213–320, often below contracts. Earnings were insufficient for families, and promised reforms had little effect. Labor conditions remain a controversial aspect of the project. Salman's vision aimed to transform the desert into a futuristic city. The line was a utopia, but rising costs, logistical issues, environmental problems, and worker deaths damaged its image. Despite challenges, Salman remains committed, yet the line's ultimate future is uncertain, leaving its global ambition in question. Neom and the line are more than engineering feats. They reveal modern economic, political, and human tensions. Amid debates, uncertainties, and controversies, the line remains the most talked-about mega-project worldwide. Hidden Shift explores these behind-the-scenes details and will continue covering global transformations, rises, and collapses.